Hello, everybody. It has been a while since I have been live. So, hello. So we'll see who pops on here. I haven't been on in a while, and I used to come on in the past and do kind of like open Q&A stuff where people could just fire off whatever questions they had about Costa Rica, about anything Costa Rica related. So just going to pop on. I'm going to try and come on more frequently to see if anyone has questions about Costa Rica, if anyone, I don't know, just to be of service with anything that comes up for people. Hello. So I see some people are here on YouTube. Does anyone have any questions? So let's see, Costa Rica in general. I think there's been a little bit of confusion with some people. So I sent out an email last week, and I got a lot of responses of people like, oh, no, I'm not going to move. You need to have the QR code. So one thing that I do want to clear up today is that in the past, I done a video, and Costa Rica had made an announcement that there would be a QR code, to show your vaccination status to do certain things. But that was stopped. So that action was halted. So that's not current right now. The only thing is that there is a voluntary, like now Costa Rican businesses can do a voluntary QR code for increased capacity. And in the article that I read, it said that the establishments have to like mark, I guess, out front somewhere to show if they're participating in that or not. Like if they are requiring a QR code, then I guess they can increase their capacity. But if not, then they'll just continue at the capacity that they've been at. But I mean, I was around Jaco a lot yesterday, and I didn't see any of these signs on the doors of businesses, or maybe I just didn't notice. I wasn't asked anything. So again, I just want people to note that just because sometimes there's an announcement here in Costa Rica about something doesn't always make it definite or that it's actually happening. Like it's kind of with Costa Rica, it's one of those things you just have to really see what happens. There's many times where they make an announcement and then nothing ends up happening. So that's just one thing that I did want to note, that, Costa Rica doesn't have any kind of, you don't have to be vaccinated to enter. There's no kind of mandatory QR code to go do things at the moment. I guess businesses can voluntarily do that. I guess if you want the numbers, restaurants, cafes, bars, casinos, shops, museums, with the QR code, they can be at 100% capacity. Without, they're at 50%. Hotels can be at 100% with or without, but without the QR code, then they'll just have 50% in the common areas plus social distancing. There's a good article on Tico Times, which outlines everything that's pretty up to date and current right here. And I can put that in the description after this video gets processed. But it pretty much explains that, yeah, there's nothing mandatory to go do things here in Costa Rica. I guess businesses now can volunteer. But like I said, we're on December 7th, at least in the town. And the things that I had to go buy a few things yesterday, at least where I went yesterday, I didn't see anything. I wasn't asked anything. Nobody seemed to be implementing anything. So just so you know. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, so this is just a total open Q&A. I'm just popping on to chat about whatever questions you guys have, see how I can be of service. And okay, we have one. Okay, maybe I can show the question here. Oh, cool. Technology stuff. I've heard it's not possible to get a mortgage to buy a house there. Is that true? I am from Canada. Okay, so it is possible to get a mortgage to buy a house. I think you'll probably need like a residency status if you want to come to a bank here and get a mortgage. Again, I'm not a real estate agent, so I would, if you have a residency status, it does make things a lot easier. I'm actually going through that process right now, and I was just at the bank, and they will, at least BCR, the bank that I was at, will lend you up to 80% of what the value of the property is. And so, that individual bank will have an appraiser go out and do an evaluation on the property, and they can lend you up to 80% of what the property is worth. So that's a good thing. Okay, someone said, but then I guess in terms of like private lenders, I guess there could be some kind of private lenders, but you probably won't get, it's not going to be like a 30-year mortgage or something like that. I know what some people do coming from North America, they might leverage the equity that they already have on their home in order to finance a mortgage down here. So I guess those could be options. So I think there can be some creative options, or honestly, there is a lot of real estate owners who will do like private financing, but a lot of them usually want 50% down. So I think you can get creative with it. But again, I guess I could have a real estate agent come on too and talk about more in depth about that to see what they've had people from abroad do. But primarily, it's mostly, if you are going to come down and purchase a property, it's going to be a cash purchase. But if you do have residency, then that does help. That can definitely help you go to a bank and actually get like the term that I was looking at was 25-year loan. So they do exist. The rates are going to be a bit higher than North America, but they actually weren't too bad. I think they're like 6 point something. I have to go find the paper that I have. But it is possible. All right, someone asked, do I like the Osa Peninsula? Have I been there? Yes, I do like it. So I actually have a video on the YouTube channel. I've been down to Drake Bay multiple times. I've been to Pavones. I've not been to Matapalo. But I think the Osa Peninsula is absolutely magical. So for anyone who doesn't know where the Osa Peninsula is, that is in the South Pacific, way down there. I don't know if I can share my screen on here. Can I share my screen on here? Maybe. Yeah, the Osa Peninsula is magical. It's one of the most biodiverse areas of the planet. It's absolutely gorgeous. But if you're going to go down there, you definitely want to have a 4x4. The roads are pretty bumpy. Pretty much nothing's paved down there. It's an absolute adventure, but totally gorgeous, amazing nature. It's just really, really magical. I do love it down there. It does rain a little bit more down there during the rainy season, but it's really beautiful, very like rainforesty. Okay, someone says, I need to know the following. Cyprus allows to have rapid tests that are valid for 48 hours to allow us to visit restricted areas. Maybe someone needs to recommend that. Do you have a link for bringing dogs in? Do we need to complete any forms or just medical reports and passports? Okay, well, we don't have any kind of rapid tests that would allow restricted areas. I guess we don't have restricted areas that I know of that we would need testing for here. And so for dogs, that'll depend on what country you're coming from. So if you can tell me what country you're coming from, I do have, if you could shoot me an email, I have like a little PDF that we send our clients who work with us. We're bringing their pets, like a step-by-step guide of how to bring your dog or cat to Costa Rica, either from Canada or from Costa Rica or from the United States. But if it's another country, if it's a country that we haven't done the process before, then we do the research into it to find out that information. All right, Tim says, do you think the government will ever make it mandatory vaccine to enter? Honestly, I don't really know how to answer that question. I'm not sure. I don't want anyone to like rely on my opinion for what may or may not happen, because I don't think it's really possible to know. I mean, I do know that Costa Rica largely functions off of tourism. So I think for them to alienate a group of people from not being able to enter could potentially hurt the country. And I'm sure that they've had to think about that. I mean, Costa Rica is not even requiring a COVID test to enter the country. So I don't know if we're going to all of a sudden jump from no COVID test to enter to all of a sudden you have to be vaccinated in order to enter. But let's see. Again, like I don't want to, I don't know. That's the only thing I know is I don't know, with these things. Okay, someone says, okay, with Facebook, I can't see your actual names. So maybe if you want to like say, hi, this is blah, blah. Good morning, Sarah. We have a difficult time determining property value. Well, I mean, I guess if you could elaborate a little bit more on that question, I guess it would depend, the square, if it's just land, square meter value in different areas can vary and depends what the property has on it. There's a market value of the property plus the actual, value that Costa Rica would put on it for tax purposes. So there are different, kinds of values of property here. So I would just say, looking at the market, like where is the property, what's around it? If it's just raw land, what is more or less the price of square meters per land in that area? Okie doke. I'm flying with a few bags, but want to send a few other items through later. Will customs allow it if I'm not a resident? I will come in as a perpetual tourist. For bags, we always recommend that our clients try to bring as much as they can in their suitcases, because there's actually a lot of things that customs won't allow in, or it'll get really expensive to have it in. So, for example, like a face cream, a simple face cream that maybe costs $20 could require a $100 permit just to get it into Costa Rica. That is if you're shipping it. So, if you fly with everything in your suitcase, no problem. You can bring in your used shoes. Like, you're not allowed to ship used shoes. You're not allowed to ship used underwear. You're not allowed to ship, pretty much any kind of consumables, or, things that would go in your body might require an extra permit. So I would electronics and everything that you are going to ship in, maybe even just in a box, it will get it. It's a different process. The customs process is different, and can have import tax on it. So you can ship it in, but I definitely think it'd be good to talk to somebody and make a list of what items you're wanting to ship in afterwards. And then if it's really going to be worth doing, it might just be cheaper for you just to check an extra bag or two through your airline, and a lot less hassle. Okay, Daniel, any updated information on getting a Costa Rica driver's license? Been trying for months to get an appointment, but nothing is available. Just ran into a website yesterday that gave great help. Well, yeah, I know those appointments are pretty difficult. I'm not sure. So I'm actually just about to go through that process. But is that something that perhaps the residency lawyer can assist with? That's probably what I would do, is say, hey, can you assist me with getting this appointment? But I know it's been tough for people trying to get their driver's licenses. Okay, trying to go to Samara in July, August timeframe. Things pretty much open with less tourists. Yes, absolutely. Things are pretty much open all year round in Costa Rica. Sometimes you'll see in October, October is the rainiest month for the majority of the country. So a lot of times businesses will use that time to do renovations, or they might close for a few weeks. But otherwise, July and August, we actually have a little bit of a mini high season, just because people are coming down for their summer vacations. Families might be coming down with their kids that are out of school. So July and August is a great time to be in Costa Rica. I always prefer the rainy season too, and I've talked about it before. I have my doggy here. Come here, Azu. Say hi. Come here. Okay, what are the options for rentals in terms of lease? Well, that's a good question. So we deal with rentals constantly for our clients. So leases can really vary. If you're able to do a longer time period, like 6 months or a year, that's when you will notice, that's when you'll start to see prices drop more. But it really just depends on owner. Some owners are fine month to month. Some are okay with 3 months. We try to recommend our clients to do 3 months with the option to extend. Nowadays, just because we notice that people get down here, and maybe for the first leg of your move, if you're coming down here to commit to a place for a year, might if you're not 100% sure on that area, could be a bit of a stretch, and then that could end up in you breaking your lease, which means they collect your deposit. And it's just I would say maybe expect to pay a bit more the first few months for a shorter term, and then if you could have it with the option to extend, then that's great. If not, but then at least you'll know that you want to be in that area, and then you can see something that you want to be in for long term, and that you can go look at in person, walk around, and say, okay, yes, I could be here for 6 months or a year. And in terms of rentals right now, the rental pool is really low. Man, it's been a struggle. We've had a lot of, we find our clients' first long-term rental as a part of our relocation package. And high seasons are very challenging. Yeah, we definitely notice the options are a lot lower. A lot of people want to take advantage of those vacationers that are coming down to, book out their home. But there are still things out there, but they definitely are. It's a much smaller rental pool. So really, we do recommend our clients, if they can, try to move after high season, or at least don't move during Christmas or New Year's, because that can be really difficult. Or kind of plan to be somewhere a little bit before and then move on. Then they can move into their long-term rental. Okay. So someone said, I arrived here planning to stay for 17 days. I would like to extend my visa and stay for the winter. Do you know how and where to do this? For your visa, did they give you the 90 days, or did they, I guess, if you can let me know how many days they gave you on your visa, then, like, if they only gave you the 17 days, then you might want to give immigration a call and see if they want you to come in. and if there's something that you can do to extend it just by whether it's extending the insurance or whatever you had to do to get in here. Okay, next question. I'm interested in moving to Costa Rica and would like to visit again to look at various regions to better understand the best cities to live on the Pacific side. Any recommendations on where to start? Yeah, that's actually, I was thinking about doing a webinar on like the different areas of Costa Rica, you know, in kind of terms of distance to airport, medical, climate, you know, kind of community and things like that. Cause that's a huge question that people have is, yeah, well, I think I want to move to Costa Rica, but where? You know, it's a country. So if you want to be on the Pacific side, usually I would ask the climate, because the climate can really vary. You know, if you're looking on the Pacific side, you have Guanacaste, you have the Nicoya Peninsula, you get into the Central Pacific where like Jaco and Manuel Antonio is, and then you have the South Pacific. So from like Guanacaste area of Tamarindo down to, let's say, Uvita, Ochal, you know, the climates are drastically different. So I do like people to know that, you know, hot and dry up top, and then it starts to go more into like jungly rainforest as you keep moving down. So climate's one big factor. Also budget. I like to know people's budget in order to answer that question, because, you know, Guanacaste is known for being a bit more expensive in terms of just cost of living up there if you're going to be on the coast. So budget's helpful. How far do you want to be from the airport? You know, it's something really to consider. If some people do plan traveling back and forth quite a bit, you may not want to be 4 hours from the international airport. You know, that could be a deal breaker. Also with medical, you know, do you need to be near any private hospitals for any reason? So usually when we talk about areas, it's important. That's a little loud. These are kind of important questions that help determine that. But I guess I can let you know what some of the popular towns are that people kind of end up in those areas. If you're looking along the Pacific coast, I would say like Playas del Coco and Tamarindo are pretty popular, but again, more hot and dry, a bit more expensive. But actually, I do notice there are a lot of, we've seen a lot of rentals in Coco, and I think it's pretty affordable, at least, you know, during the low season. We found a lot of nice affordable options in that area. Samara, Nosara, some people like Santa Teresa, Montezuma, and then, you know, you kind of get Jaco, Manuel Antonio, Dominical, Uvita, Ojochal. So I think those would be some of the nice towns to at least do some research in. And then, you know, decide, do you want to be somewhere really touristy? Because if so, then, you know, Jaco, Manuel Antonio is very touristy, Tamarindo. And then, but if you want to be somewhere a little bit more laid back, you might be looking at Samara or Dominical or Uvita, or, you know, the South Pacific Zone, or the Nicoya Peninsula even. Do you know anything about the documents you need in order to get married and the documents you need for residency? So I'm not sure about what kind of documents you need in order to get married, but I do know about the documents for residency. So for the residency, it'll depend on the residency type. But the best thing that you can do is talk to a lawyer to help determine which type of residency you're going to file for. But if you know that you will be filing, you could at least start getting your birth certificate and getting that apostilled, getting your if you're from the United States, getting your FBI background check, or, you know, getting your federal background check from your home country and getting that apostilled or authenticated like in Canada. I actually do have a good video on the channel. It's with the residency lawyer, Andres Gomez. So I don't remember the exact name of it. I think it's just, so let me see what the name of it is. The lawyer talks through the entire process. It's called How to Get Residency in Costa Rica. And it's with Andres Gomez. It's here on my channel. He does talk about all the different documents, and also that the documents can't be a certain age old. You know, the documents will need to be no more than 6 months old from when you actually file your application. So that's really important. So it can't be a birth certificate that you got 10 years ago because you needed it for something else, or, you know, it can't be the one that you had from when you were born. You'll actually need to get a new one. There's construction going on over here, so. Okay. But yeah, for residency, I would say at least birth certificate apostilled plus federal background check and having that apostilled. And then again, if it's your pension residency type, if you're doing rentista, if you've had a child here, you know, then there's some other different little documents that you'll need for that. Okay, and then, okay, I'll send you the link. Talk to Rodolfo, and he wasn't aware of any help he could provide. Okay, well then, Daniel, we can chat about, I can shoot you a text after this and I'll help you figure it out for the driver's license stuff. All right, Sarah, my name is Bill. I've been to Costa Rica several times. Trying to determine if you are overpaying for real estate has been difficult. We hear it's easy to buy, difficult to sell. It's been difficult. We hear it's easy to buy. I mean, I think the best would be just to, honestly, we kind of advise our clients to wait before purchasing any real estate. Not all do. A lot of them do come down, they fall in love with something, they end up going for it, and that's totally fine, and we're very happy for them. But I think if you have the opportunity to not just see what's on the websites, then that can be really helpful, because I guess, prices might be, they can be inflated online. So I think if you really are interested in purchasing real estate, like number one, it's really important to make sure that you're really sure about that area, because you are right. I mean, it's there is the saying that it's easy to buy, hard to sell. So, but then, I'm a person, I never like to say never, but the house isn't just going to fly off like that. Like things have been going in North America right now. The real estate market's been crazy. So it's not like you put your house up on the market and the next week it's gone and they paid over asking price. Here, it's definitely a bit different. I mean, because you have to think about it, people, even for yourself, you're thinking about coming down and investing in real estate. You're probably considering a lot of things like, okay, this is a foreign country. What are their laws? Oh, it's all cash. Wait, can I get a mortgage? There's a lot to that you're considering, because whereas if you're in your home country, maybe it doesn't feel like such a daunting task or such a maybe a risk in some aspect, because the country, the laws, the market. If you're thinking about doing it, remember that if you do want to sell your house in the future, you're going to be selling it to a population who's also in the exact same probably thought process that you're in as whenever you bought yours. So it is a little bit more, I think it is more difficult to sell in comparison to how hot the market is in North America. Definitely. But I guess who knows, things can happen and someone could just fall in love with your property and you could go for it. But I would say come and make sure you're really sure about your area and maybe get to know people, You can find listings that are not on the internet. If you are looking for something if you're afraid if it's overpriced, get to know what's in the neighborhood, what's okay, what are the prices in that neighborhood, once you find an area that you're really sure about. And then, but really the most important thing that you can have is a really good attorney. So, real estate agents are great because they can help you uncover different options. Absolutely. But I think the most important thing to have if you are going to look at any property is to have a really good real estate attorney, because they're going to really protect you from during the sale, and make sure, and don't ever use the seller's attorney, make sure that that you get your own attorney. That's the most important thing that you can do. Even if the property looks great and beautiful, I'm looking at one right now, it looks amazing, but still going to have everything all checked out, because you just don't ever take anybody's word for it, and just use your own attorney. That's just so important. Okay, can you ship a car from Long Beach, Costa Rica? Will it get to Capos, Caldera, Limon? That'd be a good question for Pablo. Well, I don't think it would go directly to Capos at all. I guess it would either be going over to Punta Arenas or Caldera or Limon. But you can ship it, but I don't know, whenever we have clients who want to potentially ship vehicles, we do like to know, okay, what kind of vehicle is it? How much is it valued for? And then it's good to talk to a customs broker who specializes in that, because you might have to really decide if it's going to be worth it, because vehicles have import taxes and they're really high. So it may not be worth it. So usually when we have people who aren't sure, they said, well, we might want to ship ours, but how much is it to get one there that's about the same? Then in that case, we look into both options. We go, all right, well, let's get a quote for how much it's actually going to take you to ship, how much it's actually going to cost for you to ship the car with the import taxes, with the shipping, all of the customs fees and all of that. And then, all right, well, how much would it be to get something comparable down here? Now, there is that law that got approved. People ask me about it all the time, but we still can't utilize it. So this was the investors bill that was going to allow people who are filing a residency status to ship in, I think, 2 vehicles without import tax, a shipment of household goods. So in that case, I would say, yes, bring your vehicle, but we can't utilize it yet. So, we're still waiting on that. And when that does, when we have more information available, when we have the information on how to utilize that, we will definitely be doing a live session on it to fully explain it and let people know, like, how they can utilize it and what to expect and what are some of the parameters, because that's going to be a big deal. So I would, I would wait. I guess if you're unsure, see how much it's actually going to cost to ship it, and then do some market research on maybe that type or a similar type of vehicle that you want down here. Okay, good morning. Thanks for all the info. Moving to San Ysidro in February. Already have the Tico house rented. Is there anywhere that rents furniture, or am I just going to have to buy new? I have not heard of a furniture rental before. That's pretty interesting. I guess it could be worth asking on some of the groups, any of the Facebook groups. Because, I understand that, So I think the house we just moved, because we move constantly. But so I just furnished this house. And if you're just going to be down here for a bit, to try to purchase furniture and then maybe resell it within a few months can be kind of difficult. So I haven't heard of anybody who rents it, but you could go on Facebook Marketplace and buy used things, or go ahead and just buy new down there in that area in San Ysidro. Okay, I have Revolut, and they provide travel and health COVID insurance. Does Costa Rica accept their insurance? Do you know? So I know Costa Rica's insurance requirement. So if it's going to be with an insurance provider, so this is for the COVID insurance, which is required if you are unvaccinated. You need that in order to enter. Costa Rica requires at least 50,000 in medical, and it has to clearly state that it covers COVID. And they need 2,000 in lodging expenses. So if it covers both of those two things, then you should be good. But you'll also need, your insurance company will need to issue a visa letter to, to specify that they cover Costa Rica's requirements. All right. Somebody asked, will Costa Rica be putting a vaccine passport in place? I've heard different things. Okay. So I just chatted about this in the beginning, because this has been a pretty big question for a lot of people. And I'm going to post a link. Can I do that now? Like, maybe I can put it in the comments. Okay, I'm going to post a link in the comments, which shows just a Tico Times article that you can kind of stay up to date as to what's going on. So pretty much Costa Rica has started with a voluntary QR request, like code. So these are for businesses that want to increase their capacity. It's not mandatory. This QR code, I guess, is if businesses want to do this. And it was as of December 1st. So this article will outline, I guess, so for example, restaurants, cafes, bars, casinos, shops, museums, gyms, spas, blah, blah, blah. With QR code, they can be at 100% capacity. Without, they can be at 50% capacity with distancing of 1.8 meters and social bubbles, whatever that means. So this article will explain exactly what capacity businesses can increase to if they decide to implement this QR code. And then it says, this is what was interesting to me. It says, starting December 1st, all businesses must identify a sign or other type of visible signage, which type of operation applies to them. Either the option of extended capacity with QR code verification, or the option of smaller capacity without verification. So I just did a bunch of errands in Paco yesterday. I went to Elcano, I went to El Lagar, I had to just go do a bunch of things yesterday. I didn't see any signs, and we're on December 7th. So, so no, there's no vaccine passport in place. I guess perhaps some business, I don't know. I haven't seen a business yet who has decided to utilize this. Maybe if someone's on here and who's in Costa Rica who has seen a business already, like, please let me know. I'm just kind of limited to what I've been able to get out and see with my eyes. And I feel like I was in a lot of different stores yesterday and not one of them specified or was asking for any kind of QR code. So, and again, just to note with Costa Rica, that the thing is, they'll make an announcement and then all of a sudden it's okay, never mind, or people are, fight out against it and they end up changing their minds. So with Costa Rica, it's just because an announcement is made doesn't mean it's the be all to end all thing here. But I have noticed a ton of confusion. I've gotten emails of people going, "Oh no, I can't come. I'm not vaccinated." And I'm like, of course you can still come. You can still enter with the same entry requirements. You don't even have to COVID test to get in here. So yeah. And it seems like pretty much still do whatever you want to do here anyway. You can still do everything here anyways that you could before. So So just want you guys to know that. Okay. But I wanted to post that link in the comments really quick. How do I do that? Let's see. Copy. That way you guys can see what link I'm referring to. I just want you guys to go to read it for yourself. I'm not going to sit here and read it word for word, but this is the most up-to-date information that we do have. And like I said, I haven't seen any businesses utilizing it yet, so we'll just see. All right, I just want to paste this in. Okay, we'll go to the next question anyways. Hi, can I live with $3,500 a month close to the beach like Playa Los Cocos or Liberia? I mean, I think that budget would absolutely be fine, but it definitely depends on how you like to live. I mean, I think that's a pretty healthy budget for a single person. Absolutely. I don't think you'd have a problem with that. Okay, I'm posting the link that I was looking at from the Tico Times into the chat. Okay, they only gave me 17 days on the visa because of the health insurance requirement. So I'd like to extend, but I don't know who to call or where to go. Any info greatly appreciated. Can you send me an email? Because I'm going to need to look into that. Because I know that there is something that you can do. I think you need to email immigration with your, like, showing that you've gotten an extended policy. And then you need to keep that information with you in your passport. But maybe just send me an email. My email is sarah@lasarelena.com. And then I can get you that information. But I want to double check that what I'm giving you is correct. Hi, Patty. So Patty moved into my old house that was by the beach. And we moved because my daughter's going to a different school. So I like to be closer to the schools where my daughter goes. And I just wanted a little bit of a quieter neighborhood. Beach life was awesome. Still living not too far from the beach, but it was getting a little loud sometimes on the weekends. So now we're in a nice, quiet neighborhood. What about retired military, like medical? That's a really good question. We do have other clients who are on VA, and I think that there are some places that accept like VA insurance. So there is a link. If you have more questions about that, send me an email and I'll send you a link because there's an article that explains like people who have VA insurance and which places collaborate with the VA for down here. Okay, it will be $7,000 to ship my 06 Wrangler Jeep. That's all in. Oh, that's great. Well, I mean, I would say if that's how much it's going to be to ship your Jeep and you like your Jeep and you trust your Jeep and it's a good Jeep, and then stick with that because yeah, 7,000 is, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of cars. I mean, cars are expensive down here. I had years ago, I bought a Suzuki 1999 and I bought it for $6,000. It was in 1999. So, and it had issues, it just did. But I ended up getting a new car and no issues so far. Okay, someone said, I heard you can extend your visa in San Jose a lot of times, not just once. I mean, the only way that we recommend of extending your visa is, you do technically need to leave after the 90 days and come back in. So some people go do that up through Nicaragua or Panama. Can a Canadian buy a farm, cattle produce, and work on it? Can I make a living? So I know that before you have your permanent residency status, you can administer a business and profit off of it. So perhaps you probably still would have to have somebody working on the farm if it's going to be producing some kind of product that you're going to be selling and making a profit off of. What is the story with the curfew times, etc.? So we don't have any curfews. You can be out anytime you want. But there are driving restrictions. And actually the article that I posted there in the comments talks about the driving restrictions as well. Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 11 p.m. That's when you can drive. So you're not supposed to drive between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. So that's really all and I think they pretty much lifted all of the they pretty much lifted the plate restrictions. We had kind of like driving restrictions based on the ending number of your license plate, but finally, no more of those. Oh, thank you, Sequoia. It's a great channel. Thanks for the content. I miss Costa Rica and plan to get back in 2022. Well, great. I hope to see you here. All right. Someone said Hako businesses have not asked for the QR code and we haven't seen any signs. So yeah, I haven't either. So if anyone else has seen anything, please let me know. You know, again, we're all just learning together here, you know, as things change. We love our house. Yes, I'm glad. I think I left for the doggies' beds over there. I got to go pick that up. Retired military VA or TRICARE for Life are effective but require prepayment and reimbursement. Veteran that looked into it. Perfect. Yeah, anyways, with a lot of insurance, like even if you do have a healthcare insurance provider that will cover you here in Costa Rica, a lot of times you will have to pay ahead of time and then they will reimburse you. So that's just something to know anyways. How do you do your grocery store shopping? I felt buying food and making it at home just took as much time, energy, cost compared to eating out. I'm not a creative cook at all. We just got a slow cooker. I got an air fryer. Now I'm trying to figure out how to air fry things. I mean, for us, I go to Mas Permenos, which is just like a pretty typical grocery store to get a lot of our things. But then I have a YouTube video on the cost of food or something. What was it? The grocery shopping in Hako or grocery shopping in Costa Rica. So actually I did a video on that and talked about kind of the different stores I'd go to and why and what are some of the differences. Like, oh, like you can get a bunch of bulk stuff for really cheap over here. But usually I'll go buy like dry goods somewhere and then I buy my produce somewhere else because it's a lot more fresh at some actually smaller stores. I noticed it's better to buy your produce at the little like mom and pop stands because they're really fresh. And I guess it would probably take as much time, energy, but I don't think it costs as much as eating out. But eating out isn't too expensive either, depending on where you go. Like I said, you can make Costa Rica a really expensive place to live, or you can make it really manageable to your budget. It really just depends on you. Okay. Okay, someone said, same here in Barva, have not yet seen the QR code yet. Okay, great. Do I have any tips on reasonably priced rental cars, or do they not exist in Costa Rica? They don't exist right now. It's tough. So rental cars are one of those things that are just so expensive. And we also do have a video about renting cars in Costa Rica where Jairo does talk about the whole process of renting a car. And he does talk about how there's different, they could how their pricing works depending on the season. And so now is just the worst time for rental cars, December and January. Also, we're finding that there's a ton of cars that just aren't available. So, people have come here, they may be booked through some kind of third-party app, and they get here, and this actually happened to a friend's friend, and she said they got there, they reserved the car through Expedia, they went to go pick it up, and the company was like, yeah, no, we don't have one, sorry. And they were like, what do you mean? We reserved one. So car rentals are a little bit tricky, but I do have a video with Jairo. He has his company, Car Rentals USA in Canada, and every time that I've given him a heads up notice to rent a vehicle, they've always had something, and they're super flexible. They don't collect payment until you go to pick up the car. They've been really easy to work with, so I'll give him a little bit of a shout out here because I know he does go above and beyond for people, and he really loves what he does, and he does a great job at it. I don't know how he always has cars available, but he does. And I have found, the prices are unfortunately something that people can't control. It's those big companies. But sometimes you can, if you keep your eye out, you can find a really good priced rental car. So that would, I've seen them online. Like there's a girl who has a dog rescue. I actually had her on the channel too. She's awesome. Her name's Ashley. And she will sometimes have like personal owners' cars that she'll rent out. And I think sometimes they were for $600 or $800 a month, which is a good price for Costa Rica, especially $600. So otherwise, you could think about working with a dealership that has like a buyback program. If you really want a car for 6 months, I could definitely have a dealership in mind I could recommend. But yeah, so you could pretty much purchase the vehicle and then return it after 6 months for 80% of what you paid. So that could also be a potential that would end up being less than a car rental. Okay, I do need to hop off here soon, but I want to get through some of these last questions. Okay, from my understanding, you should live close to the Central Valley if you rely on VA coverage, close to SEMA hospital with foreign medical coverage. Yeah, I mean, if it's something that you think you're going to need to utilize a lot and do that, then definitely. But, if it's something that you're going for appointments every so few months or once a year, then I think you could pretty much live anywhere in the country in that case. Anyways, just to go to the doctor here, I've talked about medical care, and for our clients who work with us for the relocation package, we do like a whole hour and a half session talking through the different types of medical care, how it works. And I usually explain that just going to see the doctor, just a private doctor, go in, you walk in, there's probably not even a line, you go to your visit, you're out of there, is like $50 or $60. So for me, that's always just been a lot better than waiting in a long line or trying to hassle with the caja. So anyways, just going to a doctor if something comes up, like I've had ear infections or my daughter's had skin stuff, then we do find it really affordable. It's not like $300, just to walk in the door of a private doctor. It's like more like $50 or $60, which is really affordable. So if you did have the VA coverage and it wasn't something that you wanted to use just to go see a doctor in the case of something, an eye infection, or I don't know, lots of things can happen. But if it was something that maybe you only had to go once a year, then I think you could live anywhere in the country. Okay, any guesses on when the government will allow people to apply for the digital nomad visa? It's a really good question. Unsure, not sure on that answer either. I get that question a lot. I know that there's been a delay in it, something with the regulations or not in agreement with something. If I can put it in my own layman's terms. So we don't know when that's going to happen at the moment, but we'll definitely keep you updated because there are a lot of people who'd like to utilize that. Are bars, casinos, and restaurants closing early, or is it back to pre-pandemic times? I think everything still closes. It closes at 11. So yeah, I think everything closes at 11 throughout the whole country. But it used to be, it was at 9 at some point, but now it's 11. Once you get your residency, do you need to leave the country every 90 days if you don't have a Costa Rica driver's license? Yeah, so you do still need to leave in order to renew your driver's license. We rented from Adobe. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's see. Why does it take so long to get an appointment to get your Costa Rica driver's license? It's just one of those things for Costa Rica that's just really difficult. Yes, Dimitri. This is like one of my friends from home. Yes, if you marry a Tika, then you'll be able to get residency. It's hilarious. Okay, Sammy says medical stuff here to get a checkup. It's really affordable. I was shocked at how affordable they are. Yeah, it really is. I think I find it very affordable. All right. Okay, I'm going to do the last question. Someone said, someone said excellent medical care, easy, fast, and affordable. Wonderful staff at MMI Hako. That's where I've gone. So we go to clinic at MMI. They've been really great. But one time I think I couldn't get an appointment there, and I called this other doctor's office. I said, hey, do you have an appointment 15 minutes? And they were like, yeah, sure, come on in. It was just like, boom, easy. Matthew B says, how do sodas work? Do you seat yourself or wait to be seated? And do they only speak Spanish? Sorry if these are dumb questions. I don't think there's any dumb questions. I really do encourage people to ask questions. I think all questions are great. If you guys are on the YouTube channel, I do have a Facebook group called Moving to Costa Rica. And I know that some of those other Facebook groups get pretty, people are just in there really grumpy. I'm like, what are you all doing? You guys are not spending enough time on the beach. You're at home, being grumpy on your computer. But we do our best to keep our group really clean because I want people to feel like that they can come in and ask any question that they want. I've seen people just be horrible to others just for asking a simple question. They're saying, oh, go do your research. But I'm like, the person is doing their research. With Costa Rica, not everything's on Google, there's actually so many things just aren't on Google. You really do learn from others who are down here. and through word of mouth. And that's really like how information travels for the most part down here. Yes, so, some people have written some great articles. There's some other amazing channels out there that are really valuable. But it's like, ask what you need to ask. I don't think there's any dumb questions. So how do sodas work? Let's see. I mean, I guess it depends on the soda. I think usually you kind of go in and seat yourself. I'm going to try and think of all my experiences. I like to eat out a lot. It might depend on the soda. They might seat you, but probably you'll just seat yourself. I guess it depends on the soda and depends where you are throughout the country. The staff may only speak Spanish or the staff may also speak English. So it really just depends on the people who are working there. And I think there's probably plenty of sodas in Tamarindo or Jaco that people speak English because maybe they've had to learn English in order to accommodate those customers that are coming from other countries. Whereas maybe somewhere tucked in the mountain where they don't see too many of us gringo people, maybe they don't know English. I don't know. But it just depends. But it's good. It's always a good time to practice your Spanish. Do they sell quiche? I feel like I've seen one quiche here. That'll be a good market for you to come down and make some quiche, Dimitri. All right. Lenny Nelson says, see you soon. See you in 57 days. Sam says, exactly the word of mouth. That's how I got my apartment here and pay about 50 colones a month. That's great. Soda, Pepsi, Coke. A soda is like a little Costa Rican, I guess like a cafe, like a little restaurant here in Costa Rica where they might have gallo pinto and eggs and casados, a lot of the typical Costa Rican meals. But yeah, they're great. I love eating at sodas. I love eating out in general. So usually those are the better places to go. And yeah, the food's delicious. Okay, last one. We are moving to San Jose in July 2022. You've been very helpful on our journey. Do you have any rentals, relocation help in San Jose? Yes, we do assist in all areas of Costa Rica. So we've had clients, actually on my website, I made a little map of like where our clients are living. We have clients in the Central Valley, in the South Pacific, in the Central Pacific, in everywhere. Guanacaste, Samara, just Nicoya, Caribbean, Monteverde. So I mean, we have people everywhere. So if you do need assistance in relocating to Costa Rica, you can go over to my website. You can book a call. I have complimentary 30-minute calls if you just want to chat about some questions that you have, learn a little bit about our process and how we work with people. You can find that all there. And yeah, we love what we do. It's super fun. I love that we get to help people come here and move here and live a life that they feel excited about, and we get to support them through that process. So it's been a really exciting time, and it's been wonderful. So definitely, thank you for whoever tuned in here today, and thank you for all your questions. It was really nice to hop on, and it had been a while. We're actually headed back to the United States next Monday at 5:30 in the morning, our flight leaves. So we'll be going back for 2 weeks for the holidays. So that'll be exciting, but I will surely miss Costa Rica. I'm always very excited to get back here. And, but I will try to pop on while I'm there as well. So that'll be nice. And yeah, so if there's nothing else here, then thank you. Thank you for everybody who tuned in. And thank you for our clients who are watching as well. We always appreciate your support. And it's nice to see your names in here. And alrighty. You guys have a great rest of your day.